Welcome to this lecture. And this lecture I'm simply going to show you some paintings by someone called Elena Ganbari. Now Elena does have her own Etsy site, sells her own artwork and has her paintings up on various places on the internet, particularly in galleries. She also wrote an art therapy workbook, which is given on one of my other courses. And I asked her to draw or paint various representations of her emotions and not to give any further information. And this is the point about interpreting, because I'm going to show you these paintings and I'll ask you to look at them and see whether these paintings represent these emotions to you. And I'll say a few things as well. I asked Elena to write something about why does this painting represent joy or trust? And she said, no, I'm not going to say why this represents that. It's just that's the way I felt at the time. And those were the colours, the shapes and the brush strokes that came to me whilst I was in those particular moods. So let's look at the first one, anger. Now you can see here that the dominant colour is red, or red and black, anger being a negative mood. Who gains when you are angry? You end up only harming yourself, perhaps. You might be able to detect more or less in the middle. If you look at the middle along the top and go about a third of the way down, there does look like face, two eyes, a nose, almost devilish in its look. And maybe that is her anger that's trying to escape from her, or the anger inside of her. Also the edges left and right are black, and maybe that is her black mood. The anger is causing her, or the inflammation through the red is causing her a lot of harm, and in the end it would all be black, all be totally negative. Perhaps the red illustrates energy. There are many websites detailing what different colours mean. Also, the whole shape, perhaps is that largely the stomach area, and there would appear, I said one face, perhaps two others, to the looking at from the point of view of that face to the left-hand side of the face. And perhaps the whole thing is one angry face, top left, top right, or perhaps ears. A bit in the middle is a nose. And again, there are what looks like very finely painted, pointed sticks almost, top right in black, or in the middle on the left in black. Is that when anger comes to a spike? I don't know. Hopefully Elena will enroll in this course and add her own comments. Now I'm going to put the second slide up, and this one shows fear. And I just give a comments that occur to me when I'm looking at it. You may agree or disagree, or just see what you think. It'd be silent initially, and then to give you time to jot down some ideas. Okay, we see that fear is where the black dominates, black being very negative, hostile, and like a fear of a dark cave, perhaps. You don't know what is there, so you're retreating. Retreating from what? Well, blues tends to be seen as positive, but fear is dominating. So fear is taking away all your confidence and causing the red bits could be like on an X-ray, the red bits could be the harm that fear is doing to you. What happens when you turn the painting on its side? Does it resemble, if you turn it, if you rotate it to the right, have we got two eyes and a nose and a mouth, maybe? Is the fear facial? Is it shown in the face? And now we move to the third painting. This was done on the 29th of October 2020. And this is called Sadness. Now what does this show. We've got sadness. It's grey, perhaps linked to age or lack of energy, lack of vitality. Are there any facial expressions if you turn it upside down or rotate it? Perhaps it could be, yes, if you look at it where it says sadness, so we see exactly as it's shown here, it could be two people with their backs to each other and they're both walking away from each other, as if two people have had a row and are now departing. In the middle, on the left-hand side, perhaps is an arm. In the middle, on the right-hand side, is an arm. So these two people are walking away from each other, departing from one another in sadness. So the colour, the black and the grey, age, sadness, lack of vitality. The figures shown, people walking away from each other. Now the middle part of the painting is denser than the outskirts of it, almost as if those two people are not quite back to back, they overlap as if they were either as one person, it's like the separation of Siamese twins, or as if they were closely connected to each other. For example, like two people who are married to each other and now they're getting divorced, and so they are walking away from each other at some speed with the sadness, and there is no clear gap between them as yet. Okay, I'm now going to show you the other three paintings that she submitted on joy, trust, and surprise. And I would like you to put your interpretations. Remember, we don't know Elena. We don't know her mood before these paintings. We don't know what they represent to her. We don't know whether they were done quickly or slowly, whether when she did them she was under great stress. I'm simply going to show them to you for a minute for each one and put your reactions, not to the quality of the painting. We're not critiquing it. We're not saying that's a fantastic painting or that's a terrible painting. We're saying what might that painting actually mean? Put your thoughts in the question answer section for this lecture. And then we move on. Okay.